Back in 1977, the Citicorp Center building in Manhattan was the building the world has never seen before. It features an ingenious force field centered on each side, a V-shaped chevron acting as an exoskeleton to support the skyscraper, and a tuned mass damper controlled by computer sensors. This design made the building light, but could withstand wind from preventing the building from toppling. Or is it?
Or is it?
A student writing a thesis about this building discovered the potential deadly mistakes that could destroy the entire building. Sure, the calculations were done, but not accounting for corner wings. She contacted the engineer and he noticed the mistakes while unraveling many others. However, his pride as a professional engineer made him to do several unethical mistakes amongst engineering standards, from hiding the flawed structural joints, ineffective regulation and management, and the worst offense was keeping the crisis hidden until 18 years after the building was erected. This is the story about Willard Lebashir and the Citicorp Center engineering crisis.
Lebashir relied on New York City old building code that does not consider quaternary wind. However, the Citicorp tower is supported by 4 steel positioned underneath the centers of each of towers, edges, and bridges in the form of inverted chevrons. Initially, Lebashir proposed braces to be assembled using welded joint. However, Bell-Laham Steels proposed changing the construction plans to use bolted joint to save money due to labor intensive. This idea is accepted without advance notice by Lebashir. Lebashir has found that 4 of the 8 tiers of chevrons may lead to wind, creating 40% of the increase in wind load and causing the 160% increase in force load at the bolted joint. The original welded joint can withstand 110 km per hour of perpendicular and quaternary wind. Lebashir had proposed a design to solve the bolted joint's weakness, mass damper. However, a strong storm that will occur once every 16 years will destroy the electrical supply. This may cause the mass damper system to be deactivated. Next, the confidential issue can be related to the Citicorp Center engineering crisis. Lebashir decided to keep the secret problems and facts he found. Lebashir's team worked with Citicorp to craft a secret plan by hiding the purpose of evacuation plans when Hurricane Ella threatened the city. Without warning the resistance, construction crews began to reinforce the bolted joint.
Lack of effective regulation and management were one of the primary reasons why the building was constructed, although it has a major flaw that might cause the building to collapse. Due to everyone's belief in Lebashir's review, everyone relied on his judgment and no other engineers have validated the safety of the design. Even the Citigroup vice president, with good engineering knowledge, overlooked the design flaw. Before any construction is begun, the management and the various engineers must conduct a regulatory inspection to ensure the design complies with all the safety standards. In addition, detailed technical review and testing must be carried out with various parties to ensure there is no error in the design, especially when dealing with a completely new design that hasn't been used before.
From the engineering ethical issues mentioned earlier, the most significant impact would be the misbelief of public towards professional communities such as engineering firms. Lebashir's overconfidence in his creative and innovative construction solutions and his engineering team led to poor decisions, such as having his team switch from using welded joints to bolted joints for cost-cutting measures. Such actions are unprofessional as the central aspects of human and building safety are not considered when making the decisions. This is risking hundreds of human lives as the collapse of the skyscraper located in the heavily populated New York City might damage or destroy the office buildings and its surrounding in the collapse direction, other than wasting $100 million of the project.
An engineer should accept personal responsibility for production activities. While various innovations were implemented to mitigate disaster, preventing them should also be employed as method as winds of up to 112 km per hour annually. Although Lebashir installed counterweights with electric sensors to even out structural imbalance, he has to also consider possible equipment failing due to potential lightning strike, which can be solved by installing a backup power supply. Lebashir should not overlook changes that was done without his approval. For example, the external vendor who is in charge of installing the exoskeleton of the building was unethical by swapping out proper soldering technique with cheaper but weaker bolts. These were endangered people within and its surrounding during harsh weathers. He is also in charge of recalculating the building's structural strength with the changed part. If the changes does not conform with the requirements by the state law, he should not have allowed public to use the building in the first place. In addition, he tried covering up the vendor's mistake by calling a secret meeting and then commencing structural rework at night to correct it. Concealing facts to the public is wrong by engineering law and is punishing by a court. Land managers should ensure that the building complies with industrial standard before the work was done in the first place. The public has all the right to instruct a lawsuit for the negligence done and putting multiple lives at stake.
According to the 6th canon of NSPE Code of Ethics, the mistakes made by land managers should be disclosed and discussed, since it serves as a lesson for others to avoid similar mistakes in the future. For example, just 3 years after the City Clock repair were complete, the Haya Skywalks collapsed and took away the lives of 114 people. If the City Clock Center's structural problem had been known, the Hyatt design teams would have made the necessary change to avoid the devastating event in Kansas City. In short, an engineer should not remain silent after a mistake was made to their reputations. Still, to transparent it so that others can learn the reason behind it and create awareness for it.